The first thing you're going to want to do when you're installing the hot water heater is prepare your floor. This unit vents out of the floor, and there's several holes that you're going to need to drill. If we look at the bottom of this unit, there are three main points of interest. Your first is, the most obvious, is the exhaust. It sticks out just a little bit, and you're going to need 4.5 inches of clearance, or 4.5 inch hole for enough clearance around this tailpipe or exhaust pipe. Then the other is this grill right here. This is your fresh air intake. It's also 4.5 inches, but the intake is done in a square. I talked to the manufacturers and the installment procedures for this. You can use, just because to make it easier, you can use a 4.5 inch circle hole here, and I'm just gonna seal it up to where it's not going to be taking any interior air. Then the third spot is right here. This is your pressure relief valve. Just like all hot water heaters have to have it, if the pressure gets too high, it'll release that pressure, and this is what that is. Now, this, when it comes to you, doesn't have this piece. This, what you get down here is a female thread. I went to Lowe's and I got this fitting to go in it. What this is a fitting that will allow me to hook up a garden hose, or a garden hose type of hose, onto here, and then this fitting goes right in to there. So that way I'll be able to hook up a small length of hose that will make it down through my floor. Now, with this unit, we're installing it into a tiny house, and the tiny house floor is about 4.5 inches thick. So for that, we have to drill the holes that deep. Now, what you see here, this is some PVC pipe that I fit down in there because to keep the foam and everything protected, the insulation protected from and sealed up. So we have 1, 2, 3 holes right here, and they all match these. There's a diagram that comes with the unit that shows exactly how to lay this out. See, I've drawn and measured on the floor to find the center point, and then you measure from there. So once you have your holes drilled and ready to go, then the unit is right down there. These attachment flanges, or these little attachment points here, you put those onto the unit first with the bolts that they give you, and then from here you attach it to your subfloor. That's the basics of how you get it in there. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to attach this down. We're going to run the propane, and then we're going to run the water in and out, and then we'll test it. Alright, so here we are after we've installed the unit. We'll go through the things that we did to after we drilled our holes. First off, we want to make sure that all of our holes are correctly lined up, and there's several holes that we're going to be drilling at the bottom of the unit. You have your fresh air, your exhaust, your hot water, or your high pressure relief valve, and your cold water in and your gas in. So with those all planned out, marked, we drilled them out. We used a 4.5 inch hole saw for both the exhaust and the fresh air intake, and we sheathed that hole with 4-inch PVC pipe, which fits perfectly in a 4.5 inch hole. The depth of my floor between the top of my subfloor and the bottom of my house is about 3.5, 4 inches, and that's a little bit thicker than an RV. So we had to account for that, and we had to get a 2-inch galvanized pipe extension for the exhaust on the bottom. We'll show you that in a minute. With our water in, we got the mounting plate and the attachment inlet at an RV store. You can find these at any RV store. It's very simple, just 3 screws on the bottom. Just make sure that you use the right size bit and you don't drill a hole that's too large. You'll need some area outside to attach your screws. That comes straight up with PEX from there, and this is PEX. It's a flexible plastic tubing you'll find at your local hardware store. You can use rings like this, go on, and you'll use crimpers to clamp down to fit all of your fittings. The alternative to using the crimpers and the rings is to use what's called like a shark bite or pressure fittings, and those you just push in. They're more expensive, but they're a lot simpler. And if you need to take them off, you can take them off or you can readjust them. They're very easy to work with about 3 times the price. But there's not very many fittings in the house or the RV, so it could be worth it, save you a lot of time, and if you don't already know how to use PEX crimpers. All right, the gas in is fairly straightforward. You're going to be running a gas line that's typically used for a barbecue grill in to the back of the unit. It's a 3/8" flared nut that you're gonna need on the back to test. You're gonna want to test everything with some soap solution before you batten it all down. And the last hole that we drilled was the high pressure relief valve, and I attached a fitting for a garden hose, and then just cut off the end of a garden hose about this far so that it stuck down past, underneath the house, and so if that ever needs to let loose on the bottom of the house, it just gets it out there. With all the holes set, we put it down and lined everything up. There's 4 screws, 2 on this side and 2 on this side that you use on the bracket to attach the unit to your floor, and that's about it. Hooking it up on the back is very simple. The unit comes with 2 shark bite fittings for hooking into your water in and water out, and then from there, and then your gas fitting is, like I said, just a threaded fitting, so that's pretty easy. Let's go underneath the house and show you kind of how everything fit together on the bottom side, and what it looks like and what you'll need to do down there. All right. Well, here we're on the outside of the house. This is the other end of the gas line that goes inside, and this will attach directly to your propane tank. It has a regulator on here, and this is the 10-foot. I got a 10-foot line, and on this end goes directly into the regulator. On the other end, it has that 3/8" flared fitting. So everything else is underneath the trailer, and so I'll kind of show you how everything fits together underneath there. All right, so this is underneath of my underside of my house. I'm gonna point out the different things and what I did to make it happen. So this is the exhaust pipe, the silver pipe. It comes down. It's angled towards the back of the trailer. That's so if you're going down the road, nothing gets in this side. This is my water in. This is where I'll take my RV hose and hook it straight in there. Right here, this is the fresh air intake.
So this is open. We'll probably have a screen here, very light screen just to keep bugs out. And that's again one of the 4-inch, or it's a 4.5-inch hole with the 4-inch pipe there. Right here, you see this little nubbin. This is the piece of the water, or the garden hose that I attached to the pressure relief valve. It's just sticking down just far enough to where if it ever trips and the water does come gushing out of there, it doesn't get backed up into my floor or make a mess inside the house. And then this black cord that you see here, this is my gas pipe that we just saw, and it goes right in over here, and it stubs out right next to the gas inlet for the unit. So that's all the different pieces of the unit that they're sticking through. A couple of things. I will put some strapping on this pipe. It's secured on here with a set screw, a self-tapping screw going into the pipes, keeping them together, and also using high temperature silicone to fill in any gaps around. So, but we also want to double make sure that it's secure. So we'll be using some strapping to keep everything nice and tight against the bottom of the trailer. And same thing, the gas line will be tucked in right nice and neat, just like my AC lines that you see here, and run towards the tongue of the trailer. So that's about it for installing the PrecisionTemp RV-550. It was pretty painless. They make the unit very simple. It's very easy even for someone who's not a professional. But if you guys have any questions, the team at PrecisionTemp helped me through any questions that I had. They're more than helpful, always willing to answer a question, because a lot of times you're going to be installing it into a very specific situation, and you're going to make sure that everything's got to fit your needs. All right. Well, if you have any questions, you can ask them or leave it in the comments, and we'll get to them. Thanks.